Hello everybody, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is, oh gosh, I guess it's 1 o'clock on a Thursday, which means it is time for another video. Hello Lorraine, glad you could join, and happy March to you. I hope it's going well so far. We are having spring weather where it's warm and then chilly and then warm and then chilly and rainy and not, and you know, it's the basic, it's spring in Georgia, so it's kind of cool, literally. Hey, Karen. Hi, Rosie. Hi, Marva. Appreciate you guys coming. All right, I've got a little bit of a throwback to the annual catalog today. I don't even know why I started on this card or made it with this set, but it's one of my favorites, and I really like how this turned out. So it uses the Nature's Harvest bundle, and because it's before the new naming convention, you have the Nature's Harvest stamp set with the Harvest die sets. You know, in the new catalog, in the mini and beyond, the current mini and beyond, the name of the stamp set and the dies are the same, which was really easy. So I have no doubt I will call this the wrong thing at some point in here. Hey, Claire. Hi, Faith. Appreciate you guys coming. Oh, Claire, I'm glad you're starting to get warm. Hi, Nancy from Illinois. Appreciate you coming. And I have embossed this card front with the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder, one of my faves. Okay, so let's get started. Everything will be on my blog tomorrow. And, oh, and this is the Awash in Beauty DSP. It's this is what it looks like on the other side. You guys might remember this DSP. It's quite gorgeous, and it is still available through, you know, the May. Okay, May is the cutoff. So if you want some of this with some of my favorite colors like Polished Pink, Mossy Meadow, Daffodil Delight, Balmy Blue, I'm just saying, it's beautiful DSP. If you don't have a pack, get it. Get it. You can get you some now. Get you some. All right, let's go. Let's do it. All right, I'm going to put this aside. Now, I have done a little ahead of time work. I have a crumb cake panel that I've already embossed in the Merry Melody 3D, but I wanted to show you, just remind you of a little tip. When you're embossing, especially when you have something that has straight lines, where you don't want it to be cockamamie, which is, you know, sideways or crookedy, you can use the line that they have handily printed on the folder to line up the bottom of your cardstock, and then your image will be as, you know, straight as your cardstock is, basically. Okay, so we've got that already embossed. Hi, Pam. Hi, Tara. Hi, Nancy. Appreciate you. Oh, Nancy, you popped in and I thought it was a new one. Sorry for the double hit. Now we're going to spend a few minutes vintagizing this, just a little bit, and we're going to use a technique where you're going to take the edge of your paper snips. This means you don't have to have a special tool. You can just use your amazing paper snips and kind of just rub it against the corner where you want to vintagize. Can you see what it's doing there? It's kind of roughing that up. And you can do this corner too. Do as much or as little as you want. I'm really just going to do 2 opposing corners. We'd call that probably kitty corner, you know, in the industry. And you can see it's not only roughing it up, but it's kind of curling it a little bit. So it's giving it a vintage look. So let's go ahead and do the other side here. Now, if any of you get my newsletter, I actually remembered this technique thanks to the project that I posted on there for you. It did not use Nature's Harvest, but it did talk about vintaging, making vintagizing. It didn't use vintagizing because that's my own personal tool term. But it did remind me of using the edge of the paper snips to add a little bit of texture and wornness, okay? Hey, Joanne, appreciate that. It is very beautiful. Yes, Faith, we do tend to forget them. All right, so now what I'm doing here is I'm, you know, giving us a little bit of working over here, just on those corners, okay? Because I'm going to leave them kind of sticking up when I put it on the card base. So I want this to be a little bit wrinkly, a little bit crinkly, look like it's kind of been through the ringer, or like a piece of paper that's been pulled out and looked at lots and lots of times, okay? All right, so that's about good. I like that. So let me take some dimensionals from Salzburg, Austria. I'm a little jealous. I am not going to lie. That is wonderful. And I'm going to use some dimensionalities. I'm going to use black ones. I don't know why, but I am. And I got to cut these, my little edge ones. But I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these dimensionals in the corner down a little ways. By down, I mean away from the actual corner, because I don't want to stick that corner down. I want it to stick up. I worked all that hard to make it stick up. There's no point in adhering it right to the darn card front. Now, is there? The rest of them will be normal, i.e. where they're supposed to be. All right. Did you know that there's a standard for applying Stampin' Dimensionals? There isn't, but it sounded like it when I said, you know, where they're supposed to be, like there's a manual for all Stampin' Dimensionals. Manual 106-A Bravo Charlie Zulu. Okay, now let's go ahead and adhere that to our Mossy Meadow card front. All right, let's see what I've got. Cornelia deserves to have you sing a line from The Hills Are Alive. No, she probably never hears that. I'm sure that nobody ever sings any music from The Sound of Music when Cornelia confesses that she is from Austria. Especially Salzburg, because like that has no association with the movie or the book or the story at all, by which I mean it's totally. All right, so this is all we're going to do right here. And I really toyed with making it a little bit crookedy, and I didn't like it with the rest of the card. So it's not straight. It's straight. There we go. And see, we get to keep that nice little corner flip, the little flippy flip right there. All right, so let's go ahead and, yeah, Rosie, let's just face it, Rosie likes how I sing. I'm just throwing that out there. She really likes how I sing, and so, you know. Okay, now I have there's 3 pieces of the DSP from Awash and Beauty, and this one is 1.5 by 3, and I'm going to adhere it first. And not gonna lie, these are a little bit bigger margins than I usually would use, but it kind of works for this. And it's going to have a much narrower margin between the 2 pieces, which is fine. Now, you can get real persnickety with these cuttings, with the cutting here if you'd like. And, you know, take a 1/16 inch or a 32nd of an inch off to get those margins right. But I just don't think it's that critical. And that's part of why I used a crumb cake mat here, was just to kind of blur that image just a little bit, okay? Let me put that down, push that down back where you belong. Get down where you belong. There's not much gap here, okay? And that's fine. Okay, and I need a little glue there because I've pulled it up. Need a little glue. What's my motto, people? It's paper. Make it do what you need it to do. Yes, I'm certain that there are a lot of people who come to see where the movie was filmed. If I had decided to go to Onstage in Austria, I definitely would have gone there, much to Amy's chagrin, I'm sure, because I probably would have done something goofy and touristy and stood on the steps and sung. I probably would have. Now, I probably would not have hopped down them because that is not in the works anymore, but it could have happened. Okay. So that is not as tidy as I want, but we're going to cover that up, so that'll be okay. Now, I used the harvest dies, and I used these 3. I cut one of these in So Saffron, one of these in Old Olive, and one of these in Crumb Cake. And they're going to lay up on the card front like this, roughly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece right here, and I'm going to cut one of the little stems off, like that. And I'm going to trim that down just so it's a little bit tidier looking. And that way I can actually do a little more layering. And we're going to have to cut the bottoms off here pretty quick because you can see it's not going to be short enough. So if I've got them layered like that, watch what I'm going to do. This is exactly like trimming the stems when when you cut flowers or you have cut flowers. I just did a little diagonal snip right there. Okay. So we're going to adhere it down in a stack like this, a stacky stack, which is not like a hacky sack. How many of you remember hacky sacks? Do you remember hacky sacks? Are hacky sacks still a thing? I don't even know. They were a thing when I was in college, and so it's quite possible that those have gone the way of all other things that were things when I was in college. I don't know if people still bounce hacky sacks around. Let's see, I think we want this under here. So you're just going to play with it, guys. You got these dies, put them together until your brain says, what? Ah, there it is. That's what you're looking for, is for your brain to go, there it is. I like it. And that answers that mail for me right there. I like it right there. I'm going to tilt it just a little bit like that. There we go. Okay, and that is going to work for us right there. Now, what you can do if you've got your Twizzlers, which I know you do, everybody has these, right, is you can just pick the whole arrangement up and just start adding some liquid glue from the bottom layer. All right, and I can probably get that layer in too. And I don't put glue on the whole length by any stretch of the imagination. I want it to kind of stick up a little bit. And if you have trouble putting it in an envelope, what I like to do is put a piece of vellum. Like I keep some of the older vellums, like the shimmer vellum and those kinds of things, and I cut them into card front sizes. And then I can lay them right over this, and when I slide it in the envelope, that protects my dies, my die cuts that want to stick up, because I like them to stick up. I'm a sticky up kind of person. Okay, now you saw what I did there. I picked up the top layers, and I'm just adding some liquid glue here. And then I can put everything kind of right back in its spot, like a so. Just like a so. All right, there we go. Yes, copy paper works as well too. I just always have that shimmer. All of the vellums I tend to have left over some, and so it's, for me, it's cost effective to do that. All right, now I have some very vanilla baker's twine from the basic baker's twine basics pack. And I'm going to make a small bow like so, and cutting off the tail. So you can see I'm almost out of very vanilla. Guess what flavor I use the most? Which is weird because I'm not a vanilla ice cream person, but apparently I do like vanilla twine. All right, now that's going to go right there, and I'm going to use liquid glue. You could use a glue dot, but I'm using liquid glue. You don't even need to ask me why, just know I am. And you can do whichever makes you the happiest. Glue dot's going to be much more instantaneous. Liquid glue, you're going to have to give it a hot second. All right, now let's make a sentiment. I am going to use the Nature's Harvest sentiment. And this is going to be another sympathy card. And I'm going to use Sending Healing Thoughts, May Nature's Beauty Bring Peace to Your Soul, which is a very nice one. And I'll pull this one out at the same time while I have it all out here. Yes, you're probably thinking to yourself, Self, why didn't she have that out already? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Thanks, Diana. Thanks, Glenda. Appreciate that. Let's see. I am stamping this in Mossy Meadow. Sorry, I was distracted by comments, making sure that I didn't have a question I needed to answer. I'm sorry. And I'm just going to stamp that like so. And then it's handy. There's a very handy label die right in the Harvest die set that I can use to cut this out. Give it a little shake to make sure it's dry. I'll be right back. Hang on. Be hanging on. Go ahead and bait your breath. You know, that's hang on, wait with bated breath. You know that one? Have you heard that one ever? You ever heard that one? No? Okay. Yeah, I'm just talking to myself back here. It's all right. It's a thing. It happens. It happens. us all. Okay. And there we go. Isn't that a pretty label? I love it. And I love that it's all right in the die set. You don't need anything else. You don't need anything else. Now, when I put sentiments over bows, even simple ones like this, I believe that I would like to have a double stack. Just that way it doesn't have a bump where that knot is. Okay? I don't like bumpy labels. I really don't like bumpy labels. Let me see if I can find my other blacks here. Nope. No more blackers. No more blackers. We're going to have to use whites. We're going to use a whites. Not that one. I don't like that one. Hang on. Hang on. I'll find some. Golly. I've got all the edge ones. I don't like the edge ones. I use them last. The edge ones I don't like. It's like the crust on toast. I don't know. I just made that up. All right. So to make double stack dimensionals, you're just going to, I like to put them right on my card front. Like so. And you can kind of keep doing a fit check to see how far you want to go. And if you want to go over here, you can also do that as well. Plenty, plenty, plenty. And then just take the covers off of your bottom ones. And put a second dimensional on top. It almost seems too easy to be real, right? Oh, you guys, I was looking at a cruise line website today, and I went to their blog, and they were talking about a new cruise ship they had, which was a submarine. And you could go, instead of going on a cruise on a ship, you could go on a cruise in a submarine, a luxury one. And they had pictures and everything, and they showed this one lady sitting in a window seat, and she was reading a book, and behind her a whale was, and I'm like, okay, that is really cool, and I really need to do that. And then at the bottom I read that the onboard chef has daily food. The menu is made up of things that he can catch when he swims outside the submarine. And I'm like, say what now? And then at the very end, it said, we hope you've enjoyed this April Fool's post. I'm like, dang it. I was trying to figure out how I could afford that trip because it looked pretty dang cool. I'm just saying. I mean, I know it's April Fool's, but that would be really fun. I would really like to do that. I know. And Cheryl, I love cruises. I swear to you, if I could retire on a cruise ship, I would retire on a cruise ship. And I would die very fat. I mean, maybe you'd get used to it and you wouldn't eat so much all the time, but golly Moses, there's a lot of food, good food on a cruise ship. I am adding one more little double stack because the end of my sentiment is drooping. It's drooping and I don't like, nobody likes a droopy sentiment. No. No. All right, let's tuck that right under there like that. Okay, and now all I have left to do is add a few of some of these are a few of my favorite things. These are some rustic metallic adhesive back dots, and I love them so much. Put one there, and we'll put one down here. Like that, and done. There is our card front. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish the inside. It's very, very simple. It's one stamp, and we're done. I'm not putting any sentiment on the inside. Oops. I have been sticking my fingers in my ink pads. What in the world? I don't even know. I could get a job doing card classes and cruise away. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Everybody on board would be making cards. It would be amazing. And I could probably get the cruise line to buy all of my stuff for me, right? And they could pay me in airfare and food, or fare, cruise fare and food. And I'm talking suites here with a balcony. I'm not talking stateroom down with the other crew people. I'm talking passenger level suites here. They want my cards. And we'd have to negotiate, right? So like lobster dinner would have to be on the house and in return I would do, you know, Farrah Fawcett bows that day or something like that. So be pretty basic, but on the days when the food was really good, I would give them, you know, something real fancy. Okay, I'm just coloring these little flowers right here with my soft, it's not soft, it's So Saffron Stampin' Right marker. Like this. And just the flowers. I'm not doing anything with the stems, leaving them au naturale. Au naturale. And then we're going to adhere this. Thank you so much, Faith. I appreciate it. I'm going to adhere this to a crumb cake. They start doing cruise ship concerts. What? See? I could probably get my start on a cruise ship. I don't know. Maybe they make the poor people who work on cruise ships, maybe they make them hot bunk or something. Ugh, I don't think that would be good. I don't think that would be so bueno. I think that might take a lot of the fun out of cruising if you had to hot bunk with somebody else. Just throwing it out there. All right, and then we're going to put this inside our Mossy Meadow card base. And I am sitting here trying to not act all relieved to realize that I actually did, in fact, when I build a card front on the card base, sometimes, not always, but sometimes when I go to put the inner liner in, I realize I've put it on upside down, which is not good. Okay, so there's our card. Let's go ahead and do a quick decor on our envelope. We've got a very vanilla envelope. And we're going to just stamp that cute little bush. Actually, it's not a bush at all. It's a wildflower in Mossy Meadow. We're going to let that dry a little bit. Ah, Cheryl. See, that's handy. That is so handy. Yeah. Because that extra airfare makes a difference. It really does. Okay, so let's go ahead and color this up again. And you could probably modify the color scheme of this if it's not appealing to you. It does appeal to me. These, you know, crumb cake and the pale yellow and the Mossy Meadow, that makes me very happy. And the addition of the vintageizing really makes me happy. I'm a big fan of vintage cards, and the distressing on there really made me happy. Okay. And then we'll put a little more of that DSP on the envelope flap. Probably we shouldn't use that side. I think that would be inappropriate for the card. What would you do with your horse? I know. I don't think either of my ladies would be interested in a shipboard experience. I don't know that Finn, I think Finn would be good, really, unless he got seasick, and I don't know whether he would or not. I don't know. But he would, now you want to talk about a passenger liaison. That dude would liaise until the cows came home. The girls would probably have to stay on dry land. Yeah, they would be much happier. I have never, ever, ever seen any grazing on a cruise ship. So I think that would be, you know, not so good. All right. And we'll just do that world's easiest fussy cut, practicing our technique and skill. The more you do, the better you get. That's the way the paper gets cut. I don't know. That's crazy. Okay, and there we go. One little card. Actually, now two. And don't forget the annual catalog. We're going to lose it here in a month or so, a couple of months, and you don't want to take the chance that Nature's Harvest will go away, okay? Nature's Harvest and the bundled Harvest dies. Beautiful. And then, of course, the Awash and Beauty DSP. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all coming, and I hope you have a great rest of your week and a good start to your weekend. And I very much hope I'll see you on Saturday for my YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much. Ta!